Hi guys, this is the advisor and welcome back to my channel. Now, during the most crucial parts of the Klansman gang trial in the middle of 2022, I made some videos on this channel extolling the goodness and virtues of the DCP Fitz Bailey, that's Deputy Commissioner of Police. The reason why I gave that high international support was because his team had done what no other law enforcement unit in Jamaica had ever done before. That is, going to the belly of the beast. They had infiltrated the notorious bloodthirsty Klansman gang and had managed to gather significant information and evidence against them. Their presentation in court was not perfect, but I think that having been so innovative in their approach, which I think it was a turning point for law enforcement in Jamaica, I thought they needed to be encouraged, so I gave them that encouragement. And I felt it was my civic duty and moral duty to give the Jamaica Constabulary Force my support. Because being able to infiltrate that gang and actually manage to put 30 plus of them in the dock on trial was a great triumph for me. Well, however, I'm come to realize that that was a one-off. It was not something that C-TOC or the Jamaica Constabulary Force could have repeated or would have repeated. More like what had happened with the Klansman gang was more like a fluke. I never thought I would have expected them to regress to the level that they are now. Now, my reason for saying that is because I was watching the evening news on TVJ on Tuesday, February 7th, and saw Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitz Bailey, who is in charge of the National Crime Portfolio, making some statements pertaining to the seizure of 59 firearms on Friday, February 3rd, on the wharf in Montego Bay, St. James. His utterances have proven to me that he is either an extremely moronic individual or is one of the main facilitators of criminality in general, and in gun running in particular in this country. Bear in mind that Fitz Bailey is not just the head of crime for the island. He's also the head of C-TOC. And we know from past videos I've put what C-TOC is, the counter-terrorist and the organized crime unit. Now, this is what Fitz Bailey said on national TV. And I have a video, and I'll show you the video clip, a picture, a football from the video clip of him saying this, right? He said, the Jamaican police force are working with international partners to apprehend those behind the shipments, and he declared that the police remain resolute in apprehending those responsible for sending illegal guns to Jamaica. And that he believes that at the end of the day, the police will be able to successfully prosecute those who are behind sending these illegal weapons into Jamaica. That was what his address he made to the nation on national TV. But in the same breath, he went on to say, even though there might be some criticism of them finding the guns and not apprehending the culprits, he was prepared to settle for ensuring that the guns are seized as opposed to losing both the guns and still not apprehending anyone. So, in other words, he swapped the apprehension of the guns, the apprehending of the weapons, as against finding anybody. And then he made a public appeal to the citizens of Jamaica, imploring them that if they had any information, re the guns that came in, he's asking them please to tell the police so that action can be taken. No, we cannot make this brown stuff up. A professional law enforcement agency is asking the citizenry to volunteer some information as it is unable to work or to do its job unless citizens pass on information, volunteer information? No. Is this really a professional police force? I at one stage had thought that C-TOC was one of two elite set of detectives in the island of Jamaica. And all you can do is take up the guns, leave the crooks who imported guns to walk free. Don't even attempt, because you say it is pointless and useless to even attempt to apprehend them. So you just go for the lowest hanging fruit every time. Well, let me tell you something, guys. No dignified police force in the world has ever asked the citizens of a country to pass on information in order for it to do, in order for it to protect the national security interests of a country. And for a so-called elite unit like C-TOC, in effect saying that it is unable to do its work unless citizens volunteer information is nothing short of embarrassing. It is something like if it is something like a pickpocket or a phone grabber, yes, I can understand you asking for information, or a general shooting, I can understand. But for something as critical as the safety, security, and protection and the reassurance of the entire nation, you prefer to tie it into the condition that if you, the citizens, cannot provide us with the pertinent information, then we will not be able to help you? Really? Now, let us unpack that. Let us unpack that, really. You had an elite team of detectives who saw the only recourse to cauterizing a 40-plus-year-old recurring problem of gun running on our wharf. Their recourse is to do the usual routine thing of publicizing the find and confiscating the weapons, therefore informing the gun runners not to come and collect the shipment. Even with 40 plus years of experience in knowing that that was not the way to do the thing or to get to capture the perpetrators, you're still doing this? Fitz Bailey had a track record of every single incident that come on the wharf. It's available to him, and he could have vetted it and see where he went wrong and develop a different course and strategy of how to approach weapons being found on wharf and attempting to catch the perpetrators. But no such thing. So, and how do we know that this was not, how do we know that this was not a red herring? Suppose that this find was just a distraction to lead the police away from the main shipment, which is a batch of, say, well, up to 1,000 other weapons. Because if the more significant amount of these weapons were getting through when they are sent, then the perpetrators would have stopped shipping. Yes, because they know that there's no point in shipping. The reason why guns continue to be shipped and we continue to find guns is because a lot more are passing through. That is common sense. As in every international contraband scheme, whether it be guns, drugs, or uncustoms good, the shippers expect to have some losses. That loss is around 20%. That is part and parcel of how the business works. They expect at least a 20% loss. It can come down to 10, it can go up to 30 or 35, but at the end of the day, the average is 10% and they intend to lose that. So they can send that 20% or 10% as a decoy, and while you're concentrating on that, the main shipment is going through. That's how international drug runners and gun runners do the thing. So this is not something for C-TOC to come on national TV and expect us to applaud. Therefore, the fact that guns keep coming in, it means that the majority of the guns being shipped are reaching through the ports safely. So for every one gun you find, 4 have passed through the ports undetected. The amount you find is an indication of the amount you didn't find. So since around 80 guns were confiscated in the past 2 weeks, or about maybe 10 days, because a shipment of about 30 had was found before. That means let's average it at 80 guns. Then it means that as much as 640 could have passed through undetected during that same period of time. It's just doing the maths. It's just doing the maths. If guns weren't passing through and getting through undetected, none wouldn't be coming. They would have stopped because it's a hopeless case and they don't want to throw the money. But they're giving you their 20% and gone with the rest. Come through safely with the rest. Then, all right, then hold on. Then, let's face it, you as an elite police force, as an elite group within the Jamaica Constabulary Force, supposedly cutting-edge team of sleuths, had two choices. You saw yourself with two choices. Either confiscate the guns or run the risk of either losing both the guns and the perpetrators who came to collect them. Half or nothing. That's how you saw it. Half or nothing. And not even half, because the gun runners being free to import guns with impunity over the past 40 years is actually 95% of the problem. Therefore, in all practicality, you are saying that you are preferring to sell for 5% because in the overall scheme of things, no matter how many guns you get in, it is just the crumbs. So you're coming on national TV and I beat your chest. Fitz Bailey, you are the lowest of the low. You're not going after the perpetrators. Then, finally, Fitz Bailey went on to say, the Jamaican police are working with international partners to apprehend those behind the shipment. Now, stick up in. Fitz Bailey, if you live here and have free latitude to operate across the length and breadth of the 4,411 square miles of Jamaica, plus 15 miles out at sea, your authority goes. Yet you have already written off all hopes of capturing anyone in the local space who are involved. And if you have written them off, how on earth do you expect the foreigners to come capture them for you? If you just write it off as a hopeless case finding anybody. Remember, you already expressed, not in so many words, that there is no point in even attempting to apprehend them locally. So if you cannot get them when they come to collect the shipment, then how will you make a case against them when you take them out of their living room while watching TV? Really, Fitz Bailey? What evidence you would use? Their name on a barrel? Is that it? Someone send you a barrel telling you that they ask a friend to post it to you from that country. Do you have to know what's in there? No, you don't even need a lawyer to bust such a case. Hopeless case that. So then, this retard had the gall to end by saying the police remain resolute in apprehending those responsible for sending illegal guns to Jamaica, and that he believes that at the end of the day, the police will be able to successfully prosecute those who are behind sending these illegal weapons into Jamaica. Oh my God. No, is this really? No. Sometimes I wonder if Jamaica is a real place. But can you imagine this Fitz Bailey? If this isn't somebody who needs to be in the Mona Rehabilitation Center, I don't know who is. But let's move on. Does this man know what the word resolute mean? Because he said he stands resolute. The police remain resolute in apprehending those responding for sending illegal guns into Jamaica. And you go back and say that you would rather to capture the guns and don't get anybody than even make an attempt to catch somebody. And then you stand resolute? First of all, Fitz, sir, can we call you sir? You cannot reason objectively, think critically, you can't rationalize, you can't are conceptualized effectively. This man has no problem solving skills, and he is incapable of doing it. All he's capable of doing is going by the books. What Fitz Bailey is doing as a DSP, or as a DCP, as a Deputy Commissioner of Police, leading a team of cops, could be done by any new recruit just leaving training school, because he's doing nothing special, because he has no initiative whatsoever. He cannot have absolutely zero problem solving skills. And he is heading an elite team, and he is Deputy Commissioner of Police. He has no initiative, and he cannot think outside the box. You know? And as I said before in another video on crime, we need people with critical thinking skills, people who can think outside the box, people who can appreciate the fact that we are in a crisis, and that in a crisis, one doesn't just cave in, but rather come out hitting even harder, devise ways to solve the problems. Well, I have said this before, and I've said this before in 2 previous videos, and I'll say it again. The Chinese word for crisis contains 2 characters, which means problems and opportunity. So for crisis, the word is problem and opportunity. That's the word they use for crisis. In other words, when the Chinese have a problem, they see it as an opportunity to find a solution. Look at where China is. Look what it has done. It has outpaced the entire world in anything, in everything. Economy, governance, technology, everything. And here's why. Because every time they find a problem, they see it as an opportunity to find a solution. And they always have found a solution, because they're looking for a solution. But here, we are different. These RETARDS, like Fitz Bailey and his team, when they encounter a problem, they see it as an opportunity not to fix the problem. They see it as an opportunity to make an excuse. Imagine every time you see a problem, you find an excuse. Otherwise, how could this problem have remained with us for 40 plus years? They have been taking up guns from the war and have never been able to prosecute anybody. And madness or lunacy is repeating, doing the same thing over and over, and expecting different results. Well, he's not expecting, he's not doing the same thing over and over. He's just not going to look for anybody who imports guns. Full stop. I rest my case. The bottom line is, based on the known facts, is either Fitz Bailey is a member of the criminal underworld, just on the same level as Justice Brian Sykes, or he is extremely incompetent. But the fact is, either way, this man, I wouldn't put him to run a patty shop. And when you say in Jamaica, you wouldn't put a man to run a patty shop, that means he's completely useless. And the fact is, a patty shop takes initiative to run and to keep it going. And I don't see this man being able to do that. So either way, Fitz Bailey is a hopeless case and a useless human being, and he's a poor excuse for a senior ranking police officers. And I just think this man should be gone. Please to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video.